welcome back, Deck Hockey Focus. We are extremely happy to announce that there is going to be a summer tournament 2020. All of our hopes and dreams have come true. So we're bringing on the Levesque boys. They're going to give us a little bit of a preview of what's to expect. We do know that it's already sold out, but before we hop into it, Nic, Pat, thanks for joining us, boys.
Thanks for having us. As always. Always fun to be here. Talk.
Yeah, so Patty's having some technical difficulties. He actually said he's not going to let anyone see his face until the tournament, just to keep the competitive edge and keep people in fear. So we're keeping him blacked out. But Nic, you're looking good. You're looking like you're in shape. How's things been kind of in the off season?
Good. Busy. Really getting the deck season started and all that. The junior season's rolling now. The Adel has been rolling. Now it's getting the summer tournament ready and stuff. So it's been really busy, but it's fun. I'm happy to be back. I mean, it's what we love. It's our passion, like we talk about all the time. So it's exciting to be back in 2 weeks. We're less than 2 weeks away now. Exactly 13 days away from the opening night for the first game for the 2020 NDA Summer Tournament. So we're just happy we can do it. It's going to be as big as every year. It's going to be fun. Teams from all over again coming down. We can kind of talk about the teams coming in a little bit here, but yeah, it's going to be another exciting tournament.
So just so everybody's aware, we're talking like August 19th is the kickoff through the 23rd. So we're not that far away, but Patty, what are you doing to prepare, buddy?
Well, right. Actually, it's funny you're saying that. I was just looking at my last couple of games. I had 5 games left, 2 in D2 plus, 3 in D1. So that's a big part, right? Play as many games as you can before the event. So we're honestly on my side is working the small details of the game, playing both sides. Try to work on my speed, and so you're ready in top shape for the big tournament. So every small detail will make a big difference in those big games. So that's what I'm working on for the last couple of games before the big event.
Nice. Have the nerves set in at all? Do you guys have kind of a chip on your shoulder after last year?
For me, it started like last week. Like I was like, man, it's here. It's in 3 weeks, and we started having a few practices here and there over our games and like working out more intensively and nutrition wise. Like now I'm counting how much water I drink a day, my nutrition, all that. I'm trying to get down to a certain weight for the tournament and stuff. So I think last week when it hit that 3 week mark, I was really, all right, it's time, every night counts, like our sleeping schedule. I'm trying to get back on track and all that. So I'm really, like Pat said, we're getting more in game mode. Like every night I get home, I'm watching games from 2 years ago. I watched the Deck Hockey Focus video of the championship versus Louisiana 2 years ago. And we're just picking and we're like rewinding, pausing, and we're just analyzing the game over and over again, see what we can work on, improve and stuff like that. So it's fun. Yeah, the leading to the tournament is always it's like you said, the nerves. It's exciting, but it's the preparation. It's a big part of the, you play the game, but you got to prepare for it. So that part it's really exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what got me really the adrenaline going and the nervous too. I actually, like Nic was saying, we watched the game you guys did the video on against Louisiana and last year as well. And it just got me going, those butterflies and excitement and nervousness. And am I ready? Everything goes in your head when you watch that last year and then 2 years ago when we came back. And then you get the butterflies going and your head starts spinning. And you're really, like Nic said, you really start focusing on, okay, this got to be my best tournament. I got to be top shape. What do I need to do? On the rink, off the rink. So yeah, but I think exactly like when I looked at that video from the last 2 years, that what really got me going, and the little butterflies started going. So yeah.
No, for sure. And I know everybody's looking forward to it. Everybody I talk to. But before we dig into the details of it, I kind of wanted to pull the curtain back a little bit. And for 99% of the people that show up to the tournament, right, it's already done. Everything's set. They just show up. So what about the work and the effort that goes into not only organizing, but, the coordinating with the city, recruiting teams from out of town? Can you open up a little bit about that and what that looks like?
Yeah, for sure. There's I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes, as you can tell, even so just coming with you guys, right? So, we're open, we had a meeting with you guys. What's our plan? How do we make it better and every year? Interviews we're going to do this year, and all those details, cameras, where you get, the time frame for you guys to get all that live video. And then we have all the food vendors we got to communicate with, details, the massage therapist, Carol's, city as well. We're going to be there late, so we got to let them know about our time frames, and that we're going to be there till, obviously, like in the past, like, we're there all day long, all night long. So, it's a lot behind the scenes from ranking players. Nic does a lot, the out-of-town players that we got to, Nic needs to look into with the committee on, their background, what's the best level for them. So everybody's in the right level. The competition is right there. So there's a lot of, behind the scenes, but again, it's a passion, and seeing the event growing every year, and it just gets you going. So yeah.
Well, and I think that was my biggest concern or fear with everything that's been going on and all the delays and restrictions on everything is we've seen the tournament just explode every year. It just seems bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, oh my gosh, are we going to take a step backwards this year? So, I mean, what does it look like? I know you guys basically sold out again right off the bat, right?
Yeah,
Wait list and
a
all
little
that
over
stuff,
a week
or
we were
were you
sold
guys
out.
affected?
A little over a week sold out. We're at 51 teams, so it's our max capacity here. We adding a new Division 2 D5, so adding a lower division for these people that couldn't really necessarily compete at the D4 level. Now they have an option to compete in D5 level, because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? It's not just about D1, D2. It's really about everybody being able to compete at their own level, at their own skill, right? So that's really exciting, adding that new division. New prizes too. We up the cash. D2, D3 is a little more cash, so that's another plus. There's a little bit of different cooler prizes in their bags, sandals, gloves, stuff like that. So we try to switch it up a little bit, make it exciting for everybody. But talking about the teams too, so obviously we lost all our Canadian teams were going to come. We had 3 to 5 D1 Canadian teams lined up. Obviously that didn't work out. So, but now it turns out it's going to be even probably a little different. It's going to be cooler because now we're going to have basically all the top USA talent for 5-on-5, 3-on-3, U19, including we have the Leominster team coming down from Boston. So we have big names like Bobby Hauser, Corey Wilson, Jordan Senecal, like some of the top talent in 5-on-5 Team USA's had for over the past 5-6+ years, right? So that's an exciting new team. So it's always cool, I think, for the fans and even for us playing to see new faces. You don't have the same people coming over and over again. So now this whole team is going to be if you guys watched 2016 World Cup, actually 2 of those guys on that team, Wilson and Hauser, were big pieces of the Team USA in 2016 3-on-3. So these guys are coming, which is going to be fun. Then the team from New Jersey, the Garden State team, is coming, and then a couple of familiar faces will be Jojo Melillo, Jack Gallen, and Mike Marquise, which were big pieces of our U17 Team USA team in Montreal last summer. So the Jersey boys, we call them. So it's going to be cool to see all these. We've been you guys been watching them online, following Team USA and stuff. So now they're all coming to our backyard, in Iowa, Quad City, and they've been pumped. They've been texting me all the time, asking questions about the tournament, and they've been watching video, and they're excited. They're preparing as much as we are. So it's going to be a good, fun battle. And again, we have the Healy's team coming back with the Cole Asbury, all the same core group of guys, Austin Jackson, all guys that play Team USA as well. And then we have a new team of basically all our uprising talent, all the younger kids like Stone, Kramer, Charlie Jarre, Zach Freiberger of Dakota, all this young talent that are competitive to play at that level. They're all going to be together, competing together. So it's really going to be a Team USA showcase, basically, like a big tryout competing at the top level. And we're going to have all the top talent from all over the place, all here in Iowa in our ring. So I think it's going to be the best one so far.
Oh yeah, I
Sounds
agree.
awesome. Patty, who's coming from farther away? Like, what are some teams that are really making a journey?
Oh, we have, lots of teams, and just if we go back to that, the D1 Open level, we have the team from Pittsburgh, mainly from there with the Hauser and the Corey Wilson and Jordan Senecal and those guys that are, obviously elite World Cup players. We got the Jersey boys coming down. We got a lot of teams from Chicago. The like Nick said, it's going to be every year seems there's new competition, and it gets better and better. And I think this year will be again better than the previous years. And it'll be a fun competition every level, not only in the top end, which will be cool because we'll see again the top of the top from the young guys that were part of the 19 World Cup up to the World Cup 216 Montreal, 218 Slovakia. They're all there. But in every level, there's going to be some, really cool competition, D2, D3, up to the D5. We have the Chicago team coming to compete in D5, juniors as well. As we know, Pittsburgh's coming to defend their title. So, and we have a new team from Chicago. So yeah, it's going to be in every level. The competition will be there, and a lot of new faces. So it'll be really fun to see what happens.
Oh, for sure. I think that's kind of one of the big takeaways too, is that, we lost the Canadian border with those being closed, but the rest of the United States was more than willing to jump on board because this is really the first big event of the year. Everything else was delayed, pushed back. All the summer tournaments they're all in 2021 now. So the opportunity to bring that East Coast, style of play into the Midwest and the Quad Cities it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. And I think that's going to be the big storyline of the weekend.
Yeah, agree.
No, it'll be nice. These teams will be fast. They'll be physical. I mean, they got all hard shots. I mean, I'm sure you guys, if you all watched the game, we knew how talented these guys were. So they picked up the 3-on-3 game super fast, and they fell in love with it. And that's why as soon as they found out that the event was happening, they messaged right away, reserved the spot, like we want to play. I mean, they fell in love with the 3-on-3 game, but they're going to bring their intense, like we saw the Gods 2 years ago. They brought this, they were just a run and gun fast team, always in your face. So they brought their 5-on-5 game in our small rink, and it worked out pretty well for them, as we all know. But these guys, though, have a bigger background than what the Gods had 2 years ago, right? Because they played a whole World Cup with us, and we've been coaching them. So they kind of know our strategies as well. They should play a very structured game. Hopefully, if they were listening and paying attention to what we were working with them last summer. But so it should be good. I mean, I'm like just talking about it now. It's like, man, it's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
And the other thing to add to, I'm super excited to see our local World Cup, elite guys competing at that level for the first time. Obviously, they were part of the World Cup, but now for the first time, they're part of the open level at the national tournament. So, and they were playing with 3 of the Jersey, players that are coming here. So with the Kramer, the Stone, the Dakota, it'll be really fun to see the future All-Stars competing at that level. For kind of the first time, if take away the World Cup, but for our event, the big national, it's going to be the first time for them. So it'll be super cool to see how they do, and see too is for us as see the future, right? So yeah, super excited.
So obviously you guys have been doing your research about what teams are coming and who you guys are going to be up against, but give people a look at maybe what's to be expected from the deckheads, because we know everybody's going to be rooting for the home team. Who are some of the returning players, and what moves have you made in the off season?
Same core group of guys. So obviously me, Pat, we got the Swisher, Bobby, Womack, same little core that we've had for the past 4 or 5 years now. Fan favorite Scully will be back this year, so he's pumped. He's came down already. He came down last weekend, subbed in a D1 game, and he's coming down again tomorrow to play again and get a practice in. So he's traveling from Chicago back and forth just to get some games and be ready. So he was out last summer, and obviously he's coming back, so that's a big gonna help us a lot. One of our big key guys back in the lineup, so that's nice. New faces with us. We're gonna have Johnny Ruiz, who obviously everybody knows from. He played 2 years ago with the Gods. He was the team captain for USA 5-on-5 at the last World Cup. So a big name in the world of deck hockey. And him and I, obviously, we played ice this season in Danbury, so we got close. So all year we've been just talking about deck and stuff. And I mean, it was done probably by Christmas time. He's like, yeah, I'll play with you guys. I mean, it just worked out perfect. We play on the same line on the ice and stuff, and we had a good season. So now it'll be fun to see how we do together on the deck. So it should be good. He's excited too. I mean, we're calling each other every other day, talking about the tournament and stuff, recruiting the team. I mean, we've been trying to recruit the past month. So that'll be a fun new face to add with us. And another guy, like we talk about Team USA, like a big name, and for 5-on-5, 3-on-3, whatever it is. So Johnny Ruiz is a big name. It's fun to have him back. Who else we got new face?
We got new sign up, that Bunnell. So
Gordy Bunnell, another guy I played ice with. So hopefully he's gonna turn out and learn the game quick. So he's never played 3-on-3 deck either. Plays a little bit of 5-on-5, a great ice player. So we're gonna see how he adjusts to the game. So that should be interesting. Another new face, and hopefully we get the Danbury connection going or something. And then a fan favorite between the pipes, Marty is back with us. So we'll see. He was sent down to the minors last year, like we joke about. He said, yeah, I was sent down to the minors last year. Now he's like, now I'm back. I'm hungrier than ever. It's like when you get sent down to the minors, when you get the chance to come back up, you're gonna be ready. He keeps joking that he got cut and brought down to the minors. Now he's back in the big league, so he's excited. He's been traveling down every weekend from Wisconsin to play in the D1 games and stuff. So I mean, it's just cool to see that people don't realize it's really the time and effort. They just see the big prize and in just a weekend, but it's preparation that comes to it, and it's investment, time investment, money investment. The people that play at that level, they do a lot of commitment. Saturday nights, before the tournament, we get ready. We're practicing. We're doing this and that. We're doing video. Like, we're putting a lot of time to be ready to perform at that level. And I know the same thing with the other guys, New Jersey. Like, everybody at that level, if you want to compete, you have to be in shape. I mean, it's so physical. It's so fast. So guys show up. It's not just show up and play. I mean, guys get ready months in advance for this event. So it's fun. It's exciting. And it's, like I said, the preparation leading up to it is the biggest part of it for us, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I think every level, like it's if they, from today on to tournament, if they do a little extra stuff and, play as many games as you can. If you're out of town, just try to do what you can do off the rink. It's going to help out, it's going to help out your performance during the event, because obviously it's condensed, right? It's you play multiple games in shorter, amount of time. So you got to be ready. Your body's got to be ready for it. So it starts right now, So I do think that teams that will end up winning in any level from the event, no matter if it's the Open or D5, will be the teams that are starting today to get ready. So yeah.
So real quick, my only question is that Gordy Bunnell, is that Bonnell?
One L, I believe.
Okay.
Bonnell.
I'm just going to have to go Google and start watching.
Yeah, Google him. He was like a top scorer on the team. He put up some good stats and stuff. Great hockey IQ, playmaker, gritty guy, works hard in the corner. So that's how I recruited Scully. I mean, from Louisiana, he had never played deck. Just the way he played ice game, I just like, let's take a chance with him. And obviously it paid out. So let's hope Gordy is the new Scully for deck hockey. It's just fun to grow the game. You know where he's from, and then he comes here, plays deck. Now hopefully he loves it. Obviously he will. He's gonna go back home, and now it's just expanding the game, growing the game too, right? I think that's all part of it. It's getting people like all year round on the ice. I'm talking about deck nonstop, and then I had Johnny Ruiz with me, who was like as crazy as I am about deck, and everybody's just listening to us talk nonstop about deck. And now it's gonna be cool. Next year, Gordy's going to be the one that, I played in that tournament. It was sick. You know what I mean? It's just cool to expand the culture of deck and have ice guys know what deck is all about and see how competitive. And I keep telling him, like, Gordy, I just hope you realize this is not like, you're not just coming here for a beer league weekend tournament. Like, this is like, we're prepping for this. Like, this is real serious and stuff. He's like, oh, I know, Nicky. Like, I'll be ready, you know. And he sends me Snapchat. He's going to joggings and stuff like that. So it's cool to see everybody taking it seriously and being really focused and doing whatever they can to be ready to perform.
And that's what's cool. You know, if you think about it, like every year there's new faces, and then you learn from those players, and that's what's cool about those big national tournaments, right? That we got guys from New York, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Chicago coming down, Waterloo, Springfield, right? Name it and stuff. So they're all coming down to Quad C, and then in one weekend, and you see all those new faces. So it's so cool to see that.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing about all these tournaments, and we talk about it regardless of what the format or where it is. And it's about, one, getting people engaged, and once they do, they never leave. They want to come back. But also down to that, adding that D5 level. And that's really the entry level to hockey is ball hockey, because it's an accessible sport, and it's something that is for everybody. So that's awesome that we had the expansion down there and up top. So that just makes everything in between that much better.
And even our junior league now, we have 8 teams a season. So we're going to have 2 pools of 4 teams. I mean, we've taught 8 teams at the under 14 years old. So it's all kids 13 and younger, 8 full teams, especially with everything that's going on, as we know, limit our teams. So it's just amazing to see the numbers at that low age. All these kids are, I mean, I'm excited to see these kids compete. I mean, it's always fun to watch these games. Pittsburgh coming back. The Quad Cities should hopefully have some better competition this year. And it's going to be fun to watch these teams compete and stuff. So, yeah, junior Chicago team, Pittsburgh, and then the local team. So it's just fun to see, like you said, at every level, you know, from D1 now to D5, and then junior 14 under and stuff. It's just fun to see it expand at every level, you know.
And that's why we wanted the D5, because we want to make sure that, you know, no matter what's your background, you can be part of those big events, right? Those big events, you know, are not only for the open level, they're for everyone, kids. And like you said, the D5, the salary cap is really low, right? So it's really for, you know, starter players and stuff, build our team, come and be part of that big national event. Even though you're a starter, you're learning the game still, you're part of this huge event. So, yeah.
Well, and that's what, I mean, when we're out and about, I mean, we talk to a lot of people from, you know, other states and across the country and stuff like that. And they probably think that we're insane just as much as we talk about the summer tournament and how crazy it is. But I feel like it's really hard for a lot of people to fully put the image in their head, because, like, you'll see a picture of it and you're like, okay, that's not exactly what it looks like. Like, you know, when you take a picture of a mountain, it doesn't look like a mountain, it looks like a hill. And then once you're there, you're like, well, this is insane. And it's like, you've got absolute top level Team USA talent all the way down the board. And the thing that I think is so cool about it is, whether you're Bobby Hauser or John Scully, taking it as seriously as you can, or you're somebody who's, you know, maybe played a couple of games at a lower level, and now you're really looking to, you know, win a championship in this tournament. Everybody, I think, kind of takes it like they're a professional athlete. And it's really cool to see, especially when you get down the line.
Well said. That's exactly why I fell in love with that hockey, with the live stats and the reality with it. But you're totally right. It's not only the open level or D2 that we get the adrenaline about winning. The D5, they get the same adrenaline rush. Like, it's just at their own pace, right? It's just, so we all have the same, you know, like, adrenaline rush for the games, because no matter what level you're at, it's real out there. It's a real professional league, you know, right? And that's what we want, for everybody to enjoy the reality of this beautiful sport. And you know, everybody can compete no matter what background they have. And a funny story too. So I just was talking today at DAG. There's a guy that came here on vacation. He's a tech guy from Texas, and he was supposed to be here for just 1 week. And he's able to work from distance. So, but long story short, he was supposed to be here for a week, played one deck hockey game. And then he went crazy. Like, he's like, oh my God, this is crazy, so fun. He told his company he's going to stay here for another 3 weeks, so he can be part of the big event. So it's like, and he's like, hey, I don't know how I'm going to leave, because I'm addicted right now. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So, but he's like, when I leave, I need to keep in touch. So we got to start one in San Antonio. But long story short, it's just like this guy just comes from Texas to Quad City, and then boom, he doesn't want to leave the Quad City and falls off with the sport. So and then he's going to hang out here a couple more weeks to be part of this big event. So yeah.
Like Maki said, it's explaining, even if you show a picture, I think beyond the picture is the atmosphere, you can't show the atmosphere of an event on just a picture, right? So it's cool it's like you said, once you're there, like the Cowboys, they've been to so many events, World Cup, Slovakia, everything, and I was rewatching stuff from last year, like this is the best event, the fans are crazy, so much into the game, they love the sport, like high quality refereeing, how quality this live stats on the website, the facilities are great, all that stuff, it's little details, but most of it is the atmosphere. You can't describe it. A guy like Johnny too, he's been to all these big events, he's like, man, I'm so excited. He calls me every week, I'm so excited. Like 2 weeks, he's like, I can't wait to be back. Like, he wasn't there last year because the gods didn't come, and I didn't know Johnny well enough to bring him in last year, but now that we're close, he's so pumped to be able to come and have a team and D1 to play with and stuff. So it's the atmosphere, and like you said, why these teams come back in Pittsburgh every year. It's their favorite event. It's the fan, it's the atmosphere and all that stuff. And now it's getting everything ready, and like we talked about, every level and stuff. Now I'm digging every day the new players that have not played here before. I'm digging them, Googling them, finding, he played high school hockey, because at the end of the day, we don't do that to be an a-hole, whatever. It's just we want to be sure that every team can win at every level, right? That's why we do this. And every year you see so many games now. It's shootouts, it's overtimes. Like you can't beat that. Regardless of you win or lose, you can't beat it. We don't want to see teams getting blown out. Like, that's our goal. That's why we do so much digging and we're so anal about rankings. It's not to be a pain. It's just because we want the closest games we can. And I was at deck again today, first game at 6 p.m. with that new ref I was training, a shootout. That's when you see, all right, it's that's what we want. We want every
just count
team
the
to be
amount
able
of
to win.
shootouts we had this year. It's amazing. I mean, we have one shootout a night. Like, I mean, it's amazing, the competition, that the rivalry that's been created and stuff. So, but yeah, you're totally right, Nick. It's all about those small details about the organization, like that the ranking makes the difference.
And stuff too, the out-of-time teams. So now it's good that we have the live stats, like teams that come back. Most of their guys, we know where they're at based on, so I'll compare, he had 2 points per game. Colin Carson's had 2 point a game, so he's about his level. So it's really a lot of, and then we go in the Waterloo guys. So we take their Waterloo stats, we look at their NDA stats from tournaments, and we try to find the right balance. I'll call people that play in Waterloo, our guys there, managers there, and talk about it. We'll sit down on the phone for 2-3 hours talking about 5 guys just to make sure they're at the right level. So it's really, we do that because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. It's that we want all the teams to be competitive. So that's the biggest part of behind the scene that we don't necessarily realize how much work it is. It's really to get all those players at the perfect ranking. And then it's, like I said, the guys that did not play before, all right, well, what does he play? Did he play 5-on-5? Did he play roller hockey? Did he play that? And then we go to the best of our knowledge to place him at that perfect rank, where obviously each year it gets better and better, but that's the big part of behind the scenes that make this event even more fun. That there's not many 5-on-5 events that there's 6 different divisions, right? That's where we see the difference. Like, everybody can play at their own level. So that's the beauty of it, I believe. Yeah.
That's what I was going to clarify for everybody is that when we're talking points and salary cap, the way this tournament works is every league is assigned X amount of points, with the exception of D1, which is wide open.
Yep.
So you can only have, every player ranking is worth a certain amount of points, and that gets deducted from your team cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
salary cap.
So not only as, a captain or a manager of a team, you have to build the team with the right players. You have to do it within context of what you can afford.
Yeah.
And to get that right mix, it's not easy. And there's a lot of people who spend a lot of nights at deck trying to find that low-level guy to bring up to fill that 7th role, because we need the legs or something.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it too for tournaments. Even the season, you see like trades going on, right? Like Daly's had to cut a guy and Irish Mafia picks him. Like, in the season tournaments, right, you see the captains, or managers of the teams, like, trying to pick the best player that could in the season. It's your best D1 you can have in your D2 plus team, right? Your best D1 plus, your best D2 plus for a D2 team. Whoever can build the best team with the amount of points that you're allowed. And in the tournaments, like you said, Ryan, salary cap, it's all about figuring out, do you want a team of all D4s in the D5 mostly, or do you want to add a couple like D4 plus and have you mix it up with some D5? So it's all about strategy, and that, I think that's a huge and cool part about it. Not only, it's a preparation, right? How to build your team and who's going to get the best like team built, right? And then after that, it's who's going to get the best chemistry, right? Who's going to, get the lines going. And that's the beauty too. We talked early on before, I think we were live, but about that, the way we do the event is that every team has time to get that chemistry going, to figure out lines, to switch lines. Because you all have a minimum amount of games you're going to play. So you have time to play and adjust and then get ready for the game that counts. And, from the game that you need to win to move on. But so a lot of little small details that start, prior, building your team. And then once you have your team is to get that chemistry and lines going once the event starts. But so, yeah.
And like,
but I love, I was going to say, Shaq, I love when you see as the tournament progresses and people start taking it extremely seriously, and you'll see, teams of 40 or 50-year-old guys, maybe they got a beer belly or something like that, but they got the headphones on, they're stretching, they're getting in their headspace, they're taking it, they're retaping up their stick. Everybody in their tent is quiet, they're kicking out all the wives, and it's like, this is a D4. This is a D4 playoff game right now in the summer tournament, and it is. I'm actually excited. I can't wait to go and watch because I pick a team that has the coolest jerseys, and I just root for them since day one. I watch every single game. Every single game.
That's another thing too. I'm always excited to see the new jerseys for the tournaments, or the new Joe Timpson always comes up with some crazy team names every year, and it's just fun to see new guys play with different guys too. Like you said, like. You might be an enemy during the season, but then it's like, well, you know what? I hate this guy right now, but he's pretty good. Let me try to draft him. How much is he worth? Oh, he's worth 4 points. Okay, let's try to get him on our side. It's cool to see the different teams, because we're taking basically 100 teams from the season and narrowing down to like not even half of that if you bring in, say, 10, 15 away teams. So it's only 30 local teams. So you're taking everybody from 3 teams and you're like pushing them together. So it's not seeing, well, these 2 guys hate each other in the season, how can they work together now? And it's fun. I'm looking at I'm starting to put in rosters in the system and stuff that I've got already, and it's cool to see like, oh, this guy's playing with him now. Like, I'm excited to see how that works out. Or I try to see, oh, this team's pretty good, this team's good, but it's like, right now I look at the rosters, I can't even tell you like, oh, this team's better. Every team is like, man, this game's going to be good, this game, and at every level too, like we said, because it's so, even the D3 teams we're looking at, it's like, man, these are going to be good games too now. It's fun to see all the rosters come together, and like what Shaq was saying, it's GM mode. It's basically you're an NHL GM right now. You have a salary cap. Well, shit, I'm at 68 points. I can't afford you, and you have to get your name out there and stuff. And you got some guys, they take a guy that's ranked a little too low, and he's clearly worked hard during the off season, and he's playing way above his ranking right now. And that's why we re-rank the guys based on what they've been doing so far. And they'll try to sneak in a roster with a guy that's ranked like D5, but he's averaging 3 points a game in D5 right now. So I'm like, hey, sorry, buddy, this guy's now like a D4. It's like, man, they know too, but they try. And so it's just funny to see the GM just trying to make the best team they can. And it's cool to see that happen.
And it is.
The plus side is if you have to kick someone off your power play on Sunday. You're like, hey, sorry, man, I know you're like our best player, but like you're off the power play. Sorry.
But it's legit, and it's managing a reality. I mean, there's over 18,000 of money and prize to be won. So everybody wants their, to win those prizes, no matter the level. It's super cool prizes. So you're building your team on a real professional competition and some serious prize to win. So, like you guys were saying, it gets super serious. So yeah, you can tell, like with the emails we're getting and stuff, like Nick was saying, we have a lot of players, 2 new players in the league that are non-ranked, right? And then you see those teams like trying to get like 3 non-ranked players that are producing crazy amount of points. So as considered as a, worth 0 points, but you see they all try to, to get those players in their team, but obviously they all get re-ranked, before the event. So, but yeah, it's just, it's super cool to see the excitement that the captains, managers building their team and trying to get win the prize and stuff. So yeah,
that's cool. Like, we all grew up like playing like NHL, be a GM, and you like recruit your players like on a video game. Now it's this, but it's with real humans.
Yeah.
You're going to deck people. Like, if you're smart, you should be going to deck every night. If I'm always there watching, and guys should be. If I'm building a D4 team, you should go watch a D5 game. Get that little guy that's ranked low, doesn't have crazy stats, but he can stick on a guy. So this guy's worth 0 points. He's not going to put up goals, but he's going to stick on their top score. You know what I mean? It's like, go there. It's a real life video game that you're doing like with real people. It's fun. It's a different side of the game that people don't realize. Like, it's not just playing; it's building the team. That's the time consuming thing, is to build a team.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of value that people don't put on that. Obviously, like, I'll just focus on the D2 level, which Marty and I were building that team.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, we can go get this D3 kid. He's not going to score, but he's going to annoy the hell out of everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got wheels for days. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's take him. Like, let's get him. So we take approach like that. And I just want the players to know too, if you've never been in that GM role or that manager coach's role, there's players that, quite frankly, we want to take on teams, but we can't. Like, we had a couple of guys on our team where we should pick him up if I would have known that 3 days ago, because, we already have 2 lefties.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a righty. Like, I can't take 3 left-handed defensemen. I need a righty. So you gotta navigate that way.
Yeah, that's comes with a small D. So you're totally right. You can't have only lefties, only righties, and you got to figure out to your lines. Okay, a quick guy with maybe a guy with more skills, and then a guy that's more defensive minded. And you don't want 9 scores. You don't want 9 defensive guy either. So
we're losing Pat.
I'm losing.
Patty, you're getting a little bit weird there, but maybe to change gears a little bit. I mean, we've been kind of talking about the culture and stuff like that. But the tournament's been going on for I don't even know how many years by now. I probably should actually know that.
7th, I think. Let me see.
I mean,
I believe it's the
weird
7th.
because it seems like it's the 2nd or 3rd tournament ever, and it also seems like it's the 50th tournament ever.
6th
Like, I feel like it's
6-1.
I feel like it's been a part of my life forever, and it's also brand new. But so of all of the tournaments that you guys have had and played in and everything, what is just a great moment that sticks out that you remember that is just like, if I can top this moment this year, it'll be the best tournament of my life?
Oh, it's the 2 year ago Louisiana final. I mean,
sure.
It was just the best team. We like, not talent wise, but how close we were. The team was just the most fun. We had all those guys, like Scully was there and stuff like that. We had our core, Marty and Ness. Like, we just had our group of guys, and we had those 4, like, Prue, probably ranked right now, probably best player in the world for Team Canada right now, Steve Prue. Everybody remembers him, the little guy with his LeBlanc, Daou, and Bedard, right? So Bedard, best PK guy right now, and stuff like that. So to have these top level guys come down here, and the best team we've played against and we've seen in Iowa so far in D1 at that time, and to be down by 3 goals with 4 minutes left, and to do that comeback, I mean, we still like joke about and talk about it, but that, even including ice moments, I think that's something that's like, it's the kind of stuff you see in a movie, like a miracle movie, and you say, oh yeah, it's a Disney movie, you know what I mean? It's like, you could not have written a better script, and the Scully scores to make it 6-5, and then we take a penalty, we're down 4-2 with a minute left, you have the 4 best players for Team Canada against you, and somehow you don't get scored on, you win the game. It was just, I don't think you can top that moment personally for me.
Yeah, I think every tournament there's something amazing happening. Even, like last year, I mean, almost down 8-0, pulling, I mean, with, 3 minutes left in the second and playing the whole 3rd period and almost coming back. But there's always, crazy moments. You remember, I mean, the D2, Capian won it in overtime, or actually there's 4 seconds left. But
4 seconds, yeah.
there's always big moments, but it's going to be, that moment coming back and finalizing that coming back, right? I think against Louisiana, that was just the full, pretty perfect scenario, right? That we came back and actually ended up winning in regulation. But it's again, I think this year something's going to top that and creating another crazy memory.
And I just named those four Quebec guys, but I want to take away from the rest of it. I mean, I think they had 4 ex-pro ice hockey players. They had Lodato too, who played on Team USA 3 and 3.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to exclude the rest of the team, just pointing out some outstanding talent with the rest of their core Louisiana guys, which was like I said, 4 ex-pro guys, Lodato and stuff, and bringing those 4 elite guys. I mean, that team was just unbelievably good. And for us to come as a local, we were basically all local guys other than Yannick, but he's been with us for 5 years now, so I consider him local. So it was really a Quad City team that took down that powerhouse, which I think that was really cool.
Well, and I love too that, when I go what's the highlight? You're not when I had the game-winning goal to put us into blah, blah, blah. It's not a centralized thing. I love that you guys are psyched that you're the talent that we beat was so good that I'll never forget how good they were. And that's what makes it feel like an accomplishment, at every level, but especially D1 with the whole environment and the crowd chirping and everything like that. And it's just man, it's such an adrenaline rush.
That's true. You had people in the stands with posters and stuff. It's like you're at a minor league pro hockey game with people in the stands chirping and the announcer and everything. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you got to think about that. When you play ice hockey, it's glass, right? When I play, I play teams of pro hockey, and there's no moment that you're playing and you can hear the crowd as well as playing. You don't hear, people say, did you hear me? No, I don't care if you're 50 people yelling, there's glass, you're lower, you barely hear it's not, but then you hear everything. So when the crowd goes crazy and, you get a couple, 100,000 people watching, even if, you hear everything, it just gets you so much. The adrenaline rush is unreal, and there's nothing that can beat it. People ask me all the time, and do you, play 10 years of pro, do you miss it? I'm like, I don't miss a second, because I'm living, more adrenaline playing the game of deck right now and seeing the fans right now and performing, with the Quad City guys and big events and national tournaments and competing against guys from all over the world. So it's just amazing and stuff.
Oh, but I'll tell you, I remember I had one where I think it was to put us, we had to tie to get enough points to move on or something like that. It was a couple of years ago. Steggy fed me one. I hit it, tied it up, and then I went ballistic, and somebody took a picture of it.
I remember that picture.
And I was just I was so excited, and then there was a picture of it. And so every time I look back, I'm I've literally never been that happy or excited or adrenaline filled in my entire life. And it was literally just to tie. But the point mattered, or however it was worked out. And I was just right, man, you come out of it with just the picture spreads that you'll get after the summer tournament are just 2,000 pages, and they're all amazing.
Oh yeah, there's a picture that it was my bad. It was one of the flyer picture. I think it was a Springfield guy. The guy never played ice hockey. I think he maybe played baseball or something. And it's just a picture of him like you described, just screaming, his face, man, this, you see the emotion in the face. And it's this guy never played hockey, nothing. He just scored a goal in the tournament, and it's the emotions are blowing out of the picture. That's when you see a picture is worth 1,000. It's crazy to see that. It just looking at that picture, I'm man, this is crazy. And to that Springfield team, they killed it last year, won D4, the tournament D4. They were all guys that had never played hockey. Just a bunch of athletes came together, guys, baseball, football players, never played ice hockey, and just thrown together, athletic. They came in here with a good mentality, a good team spirit, and they won it all. And now they're coming back. They spread into 2 teams because they got ranked higher now, obviously. So now they did 2 teams, and they're going to go head-to-head against each other, and it's just fun to see that at those levels, guys that have no ice hockey background still come and compete and just fall in love with the game of hockey in general.
No, for sure, and that's the best part of it. We talked about it initially too. It's just it's not necessarily, I don't even call it the atmosphere, I call it the energy.
Yeah.
And we talked about, you cannot describe it. The picture doesn't do it. And the place, it's just, for the lack of a better term, and I hate this word, but the entire rink is just buzzing for 5 days straight.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing. Games start at 6 and I'll be there at noon on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm waiting.
We're going to kick people off on Monday because it's, hey, you can't set up your tent yet. It's too early.
Yeah, it's like,
it's too early.
Whoever's the first, and it's true because like there's always somebody who's gonna try to come a day earlier now. It's like
every year it's
Saturday.
Earlier.
He's gonna put the tent there. It's like it's a day earlier every year. Just they want to have the spot because they know it's like it's gonna be sold out and there's tents everywhere. But no, that's and it's amazing. That's the beauty of it. Again, it's like, and no matter, and we talked about it. You know, like the guys from Springfield that won it with no hockey background. Really, it's a sport for everyone, and no matter your background, you're an elite player, you play pro, you never played, or you're, girl, guy, whatever. It's really a sport that everybody can enjoy and really enjoy the high competition, right? For their own level, but they can compete and really see the reality with the live stats and big, and prizes and money and all that stuff. So it's something that's really sets us apart, and I think that's, you see that the people are falling in love with the sport and it keeps growing. So, yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, I'll just be honest, it's a little upsetting to have this conversation today because I finally got my mindset where I wasn't focusing on a week and a half and the calendar like stalled. So now the days are going quicker, but now the next week and a half is just, it's going to be like molasses. It's going to be miserable until it gets
I want it to slow down because once you hit that, once it starts, it's over so quick. And then you wake up that Monday morning and you're like it's,
what happened?
Everything comes down like, man, what do I have to work for now? Like, what do I think about? Like, what do I watch on YouTube now? I was watching games, hours of tape to get ready or working out. Now I don't like,
what Focus is what you watch.
No, but it's like, what are you talking about? But it's that cool. So I think that's the best part is before it starts, that like we said, it's going to be over in a second. So that part is exciting to me. It's the getting ready, building the team, getting the team chat going and all that, and people are texting me, hey, when are the rosters coming out? I gotta see my competition recruit at every level, right? I'm not gonna name names, but it's not just the D1, the D4 guys are texting me, I want to see the teams, how many teams at that level, like who are we playing, is there all the teams?
You get guys and going with that, just to add to that, Nick, is like I got guys texting me like, hey Pat, like they're playing on 3 teams right already. Pat, I'm on the sub list, I gotta play every night as much as I can before the event. I got 50, and that's guys like, that are playing the D5, D4, level. I mean, it's everybody is hyping up and getting ready. So it's so cool to see that.
Oh, for sure. And I think obviously the passion and the energy we all have for it, I think just for the DHF audience, when we talk about it, this is why for these East Coast guys, when they get here, just ask them about it. It'll validate all of that. But, we're what, like less than 2 weeks away. It'll come out and probably be about a week and a half when we release this. Yeah. So it's about to be on top of us. We're looking forward to it. And do you guys just want to call it a night? Because I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight just from my adrenaline.
No, I'm going to watch some videos right now.
The last thing I was going to say to you boys is, are the Deckheads the team to beat? Is the money staying in 52722 this year, or are you going to let me down again? I want to know.
I would say this year, now people know. I think last year they saw that this team is beatable. There's talent out there. So I think now that's hopefully the local crowd is behind us a little more than last year. I almost feel like it was almost like, I want to see if somebody can beat them. Now that's happened. Hopefully, now it's really out of town teams and we're going to have 2 local teams. So hopefully we really get the fan support. And this is what it is. I mean, it's our local team. It's local guys. It's guys that grew up, Bobby Cassette, Nick Swisher, Mike. No, it's guys they're here. It's our local guys. So I just hope that when we play those out of town teams in a respectful way, that we get the cheering going for us. Because if we would be going there, they would get it, right? When the Gods won it in Pittsburgh, the 5-on-5, they had it. So now it's here. So let's take advantage of that. And I hope that everybody goes behind, because we're getting some serious competition here. On paper wise, if you compare, I'm not gonna say it because I'm positive, but like there's some competition coming here, big names. Like if you guys watch some highlights from 216 or World Cups or type their names on YouTube, there's gonna be an NHL Network. I mean, it's the biggest names in deck hockey are coming here, so it's gonna be real.
Yeah, all the best players like from the United States are gonna be in the tournament. So I think it's it's gonna be literally who's gonna show up, who's gonna do the details, who's gonna be the top goalies to play all their their heads and stuff and outperform the other goalie. That's like from defensively to offensively, who's going to put the ball in when they need to put it in, because it's going to be, I mean, every detail. I mean, because it could be literally any team could win this year. I mean, from the Jersey guys to the Hauser team. I mean, the young guys too. I mean, the Kramers and Stone and and Charlie. So it's going to be anybody's game right now. Honestly, I think it's going to be the toughest year. That
and even
in a sense,
Jack Healy's team. I mean, they they improved last year. The round robin, we tied them 3-3. I mean, they tied us 3-3 in the round robin game, and they added some bigger talent than what they had. Their team went from here to here, and Jack Healy's a really good recruiter. Like he kind of took over that Waterloo Springfield franchise 2 years ago, maybe I want to say, and he's been doing a really good job at recruiting and bringing the right guys and getting a strategy and a mindset. And he really brought a franchise team to the D1 level, and he recruited guys, and now he got Cal Schott. He's with them now and stuff. So it's their team every year is getting here. Like I said, last year they tied us, and now they stepped it up even more. So they're going to be a team that could probably, they could go, if they play like smart this year, they could go all the way and possibly win it. So
look at 4 names you guys know. Healy's an unreal player. Cola's gonna snipe any corner. Give me a little corner, he's gonna put it in. Cal Schott, you guys all know him from the World Cup and last year. And then there's obviously Jackson from Waterloo. One of the best players in Waterloo. So I mean, all those 4 guys that you guys know the name. That's solid.
They have
4
Perry,
guys right there.
Perry Jacobs on there too, who played Team USA. Honestly, one of the best D-men here in quad. Tyler Mankey from Waterloo was on Team USA as well.
They have no weak links. I mean, it's they literally, that team, it is true. Nic is totally right. I mean, Haley's a great captain, builds amazing teams. Him as a leader too, he's an unreal player, and he recruits well, and they have more.
You cut off.
Passion. Yeah, we're losing
Pat more secrets. Pat will never show his hand.
But it's cool because that's what I mean. Like the 4 years ago, they said we have so much talent in Waterloo. We need to have a team from here, and they worked with Springfield, and they were here 4 years ago. They were fine, and then every year is to see how they come. And 2 years ago, I think we beat them 5-2, close. Last year 3-3. Now we're at the level that anybody can win. Everybody has the talent on each team. It's really going to be about who shows up to play, who plays the better system, who doesn't make the mistake. That one mistake is going to make the difference between the winner or loss at that level. At the level we're at now, it's so cool because that was our vision 6 years ago when we made the tournament, was to have that level where we can get a home team and that's where we're at now. So it's cool to see it come together.
Well, and there's a couple players we didn't name on that roster that I know their names and I've seen and I know who they are, and they're going to be, if they can adjust to that 3-on-3 game, they're going to be a big X factor for them.
On the Lowminster
on Healy's team. But Mock, I'll answer your question, and I'll just throw this out there. The money stays in 52722, but it's not going to the deckheads.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? Like we worked on this team because that was our goal too. It's like now we have too much talent here. Like I want Stone on my team. I want Kramer. I want Charlie Freiberger. All these guys. Dakota now he's killing it. I mean, his shot's unreal. Guy never played ice hockey. I mean, I see him play the way he plays. He runs nonstop. His shot is amazing, and it's just these guys need to be playing at that level, and not on I don't want to say a bad team, but they need to be playing at that level on a real team that can win and that has structure. So I worked with them to build a real Scotty Worgan, another guy that I didn't name. Worgan obviously led his team last year in the D1 level. He's a big 5-on-5 guy, really, really talented player. So I said, we're going to start. That's another franchise we want to build with all this young talent and have a real team that's going to compete at that level and see how they do against us. These are all guys that could play on any team in D1, but we want to keep them together and see how they gel together and work. And it's going to be a legit team. Like, they're young, they run, they're in shape. Like, I'm not gonna lie, our team, we're getting older, and now it's cool to have this team that can slowly step in and learn the game, learn the culture of the 3-on-3 game and all that. And with their lungs, their legs, and everything, I think they're going to be a big surprise this year. I mean, if they're smart and they keep their heads and they play mature, they could go all the way 100%. Like Shaq said,
because we had to make a decision this year. Like Nick said, there were so many young talents. Like, either do we need? There's got to be room for those young guys, and there's too many, you know. So we had to make the decision that, hey, it's time for us to build that young future all-star, you know, World Cup team, elite team with all the young talent coming up. And you're totally right, Ryan. I mean, they have a chance as much as the Healy team and stuff, and the Springfield Wild guys, us. I mean, the New Jersey, Pittsburgh, name it. I mean, it's gonna be anybody's. I mean, those look how they played in the season. You know, like, I mean, the Kramer and Stone and all those guys, Charlie, name it. I mean, they're hard to beat. They're quick. They're speed. They know the game. They have experience now. They've been coached right by Nic and Swisher in Montreal. They learn a lot from that experience. So no, it will be the best event so far, and us, for just like talking about the open level, it'll be the hardest one so far. Like, there's going to be, it's not going to be, like, it's between two teams, or it's going to be anybody can win it. And that's like 100% a fact. Look at all the rosters. I mean, it's going to be an anybody's game.
I mean, it's basically going to be, it's a showcase for Team USA 3-on-3 for the next World Cup. I mean, there's 15 spots on the 3-on-3 team, so they can take 13 players, 2 goalies. That's 15 spots. There's going to be 50 players, all USA guys, right? So no more Canadian guys that are in the mix. It's going to be the 50 top USA guys that are working and fighting for 15 spots on Team USA. Yeah. So that's another thing that's going to – the guys are going to want to prove that they deserve to make that roster, that 15-man roster. You have to be the guy that stands out in that tournament. Out of 50 guys, 15 are going to be able to play on that Team USA. So it's not like 3 years ago where we almost, if you played D1, you almost were guaranteed to make Team USA. Right now, it's like, no, we have a big pool of talent to pick from. I don't care if the 19-year-old, 20-year-old, they're mature enough at that age. And I saw them play in Montreal last year. They were playing like, man, they're ready to play at the men's level. Yeah. And so it's going to be crazy to see those guys compete, ourselves included, to want to prove that they have a spot on that roster and they have what it takes to play for that 15-man roster. Yeah. So it's going to be another level.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And that's what's a cool thing about it. I mean, I'm kind of like, like repeating again, but that's a cool thing about like that. It's, that the border, I guess, that the situation, the Canadian teams can come and Yannick can come. It's truly right now an American, USA battle. And like you said, there's 15 spots for the 50 players right there, and they're all going to be there. So who will showcase the best and prove that they're part of the 15 top guys in US?
Well, I know personally, I can't wait. I mean, honestly, we've seen so many amazing battles, even if it's a day one, first round matchup versus a championship Sunday. It's always just hot and heavy. But I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody when I say my biggest fear with this whole shutdown thing was that we weren't going to have a tournament. The most important takeaway is, boys, we got hockey back. It's going to be bigger than ever. We're not losing the stride here in Iowa. I feel bad for everybody that can't come to our tournament, but I still get to play. So it's going to be awesome, man. Next time we ask you guys if you're going to win, just say yes and just like stoke some tension and stuff. We kind of thrive off that here in the media. But boys, again, I know that this is like the most busy time of the year for you guys and you have like 100 things going on at the same time. So I appreciate you finding the time to sit down with us and give us a kind of look behind the lens. But any closing remarks here?
No, just a few things. I know that people will make remarks, schedule and stuff, so that'll be out soon. Don't worry, if you've never done a schedule with 50 teams and all the requests and 2 rings and within that time span we have, it's not an easy task. So give us time, and we're still figuring out rosters. We're still trying to see who plays on 2 divisions, like I said, stuff like that. So we started working on it. Obviously, we announced, I think it was Monday, sold out. So now the schedule's in the process of being made, but it takes time. And rosters are being entered and stuff. That's all going to be released at the same time. So I think a little difference last year, they were slowly appearing, the rosters, and guys were on it. Now we put the thing to inactive, so you can't see it until they're all done, and then they're all going to be released at the same time. So I wanted, if a team gives us a roster earlier, they're not disadvantaged in any way because it's all going to be released at the same time. Boom, it's going to be out. It's going to be announced. Rosters are on the website. So it's just another side it's going to be exciting for. And then I'm sure the website's going to blow up. People are going to go see all the teams' roster and start scouting and recruiting. And another thing that's like we were saying, that's a big part of the game too, is starting to, who do I play against? We got these teams in the round robin. Maybe they'll go watch videos from last year and stuff like that. So it's fun stuff coming our way. So I just wanted to say the schedule will be here shortly. We're working on it hard. So it'll be out probably a week before the tournament, same as rosters and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure. Thanks, boys. Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for sure. We got some D1 to do. And
yep, Scully coming down to town. It's gonna be good games. I'll be there watching and recruiting.
And don't worry, Nick.
You'll be coaching tomorrow.
I'll be there. 95% sure I'll be there. But don't worry, Nick. Whenever the schedule comes out, I'm still texting you, telling you we need to change it. Even if it's
exactly. That's what I have conflicts. I can't play this day. Blah blah. Okay. But
all right, boys.
Well,
I'm excited. I'm
boys.
really counting down the days.
15
What's up,
days
Poppy?
to the biggest weekend of the summer.
Cool.
No, we can't wait, boys.
All
Don't
right.
forget, Deck Hockey Focus. We'll be doing all kinds of live coverage. We'll be doing all kinds of interviews. Honestly, we've got so many things in the works right now that I don't want to commit to anything. But we should be able to help you guys out with, especially those of you guys that can't be there in person for obvious reasons and things like that. But we're so excited. Nic Levesque, Pat Levesque, we just appreciate everything you guys do. This tournament is literally the best.
It's gonna be like the interview and stuff. Like follow social media. You guys like what do you guys do it like?
We'll put
so everybody knows what's going on.
Yep. So we'll have periodic updates on our Facebook page. We've got our Twitter. The most important thing, I think, that we need more subscribers on the YouTube channel, so I kind of want to push that. But deckhockeyfocus.com. If you have a question about what we're doing, go to deckhockeyfocus.com. That will usually answer all of your questions. Or just bother Nic and Pat. They don't have anything going on. So just ask them. Leave us alone. No, but we'll be doing a bunch of interviews and stuff like that. And we love doing all that kind of fan stuff and all that thing. So 2020 is looking to be the same year that we thought it was going to be. It's just happening a month later, and we can't wait for it. Stay tuned, Deck Hockey Focus.